Welcome to the Payoff Pitch Prospect Report. I'm Paul Valley. Today we're going to talk about Ryan McKenna, the 22-year-old former fourth-round pick out of St. Thomas Aquinas High School in New Hampshire. McKenna was hitting .377 last year for Frederick when he got the promotion to Bowie. Only hit .239 the rest of the way. This year he's hitting .234 with a .313 on-base percentage and a .393 slugging percentage with 9 home runs. But 4 of those 9 home runs have come in the last 4 games, including a 2-home-run game last night, which is the reason that we're going to talk about McKenna today. As we said, he's been having a bit of a power surge. He's slashing .341, .413, .756 with an OPS of 1169. Again, anything over 1,000 is great. With 4 home runs and 13 RBIs over an 11-game stretch. 8 of his last 14 hits are for extra bases. The guy's really swinging a hot stick. He's one of the best defensive outfielders in the system. Again, that average is only at .234, but when you consider the fact he hit .207 in April and .210 in May, that average is starting to climb up, and this is a guy that we need to keep our eye on because he could be seen in Baltimore, not this year, but maybe sometime next year because of his defense. If that bat can continue to improve, that's a player who could be really special in the Orioles system. Also, the 9 home runs are only 2 shy of his career high, which he set last year for 11. He's got 10 stolen bases this year after only stealing 9 last year, but he did steal 20 bags in 2017, so he's got some speed out there too. So Ryan McKenna, really interesting prospect who's swinging a hot stick over the last 11 games, showing a lot of power. Another guy, Dean Kremer. He came over in that trade for Machado last year along with Yusniel Diaz, and he strained his oblique in spring training this year, but this is a guy who had 178 strikeouts in 2018 to lead all minor leaguers, and I don't mean all Orioles minor leaguers, I mean all minor leaguers across the board. Nobody had more strikeouts than Dean Kremer. Last night he went 7 innings of shutout ball after going 10-5 with a .288 ERA last season between Dodgers and Orioles affiliates. He's only made 8 starts this year. His first 2 starts in Frederick, 9 2/3 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts, 0 earned runs, dominating the competition, as he should have, because they're, not as experienced players as him, not as high caliber players as him. They're in lower levels. So he got moved up to Bowie after those first 2 starts. And then his first 3 starts at Bowie, he was 0-3 with a .689 ERA and just 13 strikeouts over 15 2/3 innings. Again, after striking out 178 batters in about 131 innings last year, so the strikeouts were down. But then in 4 of his last 5 starts, 1 or 0 earned runs, 4-1 with a .150 ERA, and he has 33 strikeouts in 30 innings pitched during that stretch. So this is a guy the Orioles were really looking at in spring training until he hurt himself. He was on the shelf for almost 2 months, but he's made 8 starts now, and he's pitching really well for the Orioles. And this is a guy who projects as, a lower half of the rotation starter, or he could be a big bullpen arm for them. But right now, one of the guys pitching well in a string of really great pitching down at the lower levels of the minor leagues for the Orioles, so that's really great to see. And then we move on to Norfolk, and they have 2 All-Stars, and these are guys we've talked about at length throughout the year on the payoff pitch. You're looking at Ryan Mountcastle hitting .304, 15 home runs, and 50 RBIs. The 50 RBIs lead every organizational player, whether it's at the big league level or the minor league level. So that's great to see. He's 3 home runs away from tying his career high, which was 18 that he set just a couple of seasons ago. This is one of the Orioles' top prospects. He's a top 100 prospect on multiple publications. Still needs to work on that plate discipline, but it's nice to see him get an All-Star nod for a stellar season that he's having, and hopefully we'll be able to see him in Baltimore maybe in September and see what he can do for the Orioles moving forward. Another guy who is really important to this organization, big left-handed pitcher, Keegan Akin, 4-2 with a .420 ERA in 16 starts, but he's 4-1 with a .378 over his last 10 starts. He has 89 strikeouts in 75 innings, but the problem here is he also has 40 walks in his 75 innings this year. The Orioles want him to show more consistency. He's allowed 2 earned runs or fewer in 8 starts and 3 earned runs or more, plus 3+ walks or more in 8 starts. So he's had the definition of an up and down season. He's a guy with a heavy fastball, induces a ton of ground balls. He misses bats as evidenced by those 89 strikeouts in just 75 innings. He's got a 32% ground ball rate, which is really nice when you consider he's got a 40% strikeout rate. So as far as the outs that he gets. So for Keegan Akin, he could be the next guy that we see at the major league level, but he's really got to put together a string of 5, 6, 7 starts where he's, dominating the competition. They are using the same ball they use in the major league level, so it's nice to see that his ERA is at 4.20, but hopefully he can get it down into the threes, and the Orioles can possibly bring him up maybe in August or a September call-up just to see what they have in him. But so the Norfolk Tides, 2 All-Stars in Keegan, Akin, and Ryan Mountcastle, and these are guys who are going to be part of the Orioles' future probably sooner than later, so nice to see. That's going to do it for the Payoff Pitch Prospect Report. Once again, I'm Paul Valley. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be on vacation next week, so we won't be recording a show, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. And until then, stay tuned and go O's.